Hey guys, welcome back to another video. This video is just a bit of fun, not financial advice, and I'm just mentioning something I've mentioned before in the past about previous cycles and when they've peaked. But we get into a bit of this first. So Kaspa at the moment is still under 8 cent. But a lot of the stuff you've probably seen it already. There's a buy CAS button there. So CoinMarketCap is owned by Binance. So when you put a buy CAS there, it brings you to the Binance exchange where you can buy CAS. But we know that CAS is not listed as spot on Binance yet. But the majority of people, including myself, think that wallet number two is CAS, and it is gaining on wallet number one. So this is the biggest exchange in the world. So they need a lot of CAS for liquidity. So it would make sense that they want to get to number one in CAS liquidity and holding Kaspa. And if we have a look at this here, probably a few people have said that the hash rate is going down slightly. I know Red Panda, I think his name is Red Panda Miner. He is kind of gone off cast and he's turned off a lot of his ASICs mining cast at the moment. So maybe that did a bit of a drop. But the whole thing about mining is just a way of getting the coins out there. It's not supposed to be a thing that goes on forever. And there's a rapid emission rate with Kaspa, so the coins are to get out there really rapidly. So the miners make money from block rewards, which at the moment is we have 62 CAS per block. So when a miner gets that block, they get rewarded 62 CAS. And then it's going to drop down in 12 days down to 58 CAS. So it's constantly going down. So we need the price of Kaspa to go up, which it will do, because there's nothing better on the market. It will go up. I believe that this downtrend is due to some manipulation from Binance or Wintermew or some market maker, something like that. But what I'm saying here is that we need more trans. So we have block reward, which is one thing that the miners get, and the next thing they get is transactions. So when we have smart contracts, there's going to be a lot more transactions, and they all happen on the base layer on Kaspa, and that will go to the miners, and it will make it more profitable than it is at the moment to mine Kaspa, and it'll secure the network. So that's what's good about when smart contracts are coming out. Now, the title of the video, I don't know if it piqued your interest, is this is a chart I've looked at. I've made previous videos on this. That this line here is the halving, and how many, these are the days after the halving. So I made a video on exactly 18 months after the halving, the last two cycles peaked at the same time. You can see them here. Number one isn't really, the blue one is the fourth cycle. That kind of did its own thing. We can make the blue one go away. So if we look at the orange and the orange and the green both peaked 527 days after the halving. And if we look at the one we're on now, we are on 336 days. So I can't remember what the title of the video was. So that basically leaves 189 days. If this cycle was to peak at the same time as the last two, that gives us 189 days for recovery for it to get up there and catch up. And you can see here that the cycles, you see the two cycles ago it went up, and then the last cycle it took a bit longer to go up, a bit more time to go up, and then we're seeing the same thing here in the cycle we're at. It's going to take a bit more time to go up as well. So they all do their own thing, but they did peak at the same time. So it'd be interesting to see if that matches up, because in another video I did, it's the best time to buy Bitcoin, the lowest point to buy Bitcoin was the exact same on the last two cycles as well, and the peak of the bull run was the exact same 18 months after as well. So it's curious to see if this cycle is going to follow suit. Maybe, sure, we'll know in the future. We don't know now. Other news, Elper has up here the SEC decision classifying proof of work mining transactions of coins like CAS and BTC as non-securities related transactions is a huge win. Staking on proof of stake networks like Sol and ETH, however, is similar to receiving dividends and owning stocks, which are securities. So that's good. A lot of people might be holding off before they got clarification for this, but Bitcoin and CAS proof of work coins are not commodities, or sorry, they're not securities, they are commodities. Other news here, we have Igra Labs. This is a short little video they made.
In this video, we'll show you how Igra Network processes transactions. Let's look at the basic building blocks. Igra architecture is comprised of the following parts: Igra Relayer and RPC service, Igra node, an IGRA EVM. User sends an L2 transaction to the RPC service, and it is relayed to the Kaspa L1 to be mined and sequenced. After L2 transaction is mined on L1, IGRA node picks it up and executes it using IGRA EVM. At this stage, any users connected to the IGRA relayer can see this transaction as a part of their accepted state. Now, let's deploy an example contract.
Okay, you can have a look at
We
there.
can see that Kaspa on blocks are run.
Go to IGRA Labs on their X page and you can have a look at that. It's like clear as mud. If you're not very technical, it doesn't really help. But what you need to know from IGRA Labs is they're building a layer 2 on top of Kaspa, but all the transactions get sequenced, or they all have to go to the base layer and get sequenced on Kaspa base layer, and the miners get the transaction fee. That's really good. Casplex, as far as I know, are doing the same thing. The transactions are going to be sequenced on the base layer, so the miners will get the money. So all this relates into what I said earlier about block rewards, and we need more transactions. So if all these smart contracts are going to get sequenced on the base layer, that's good for the miners and good for security of the network. There's other ones like Ethereum that are only 12 blocks per second. They're not fast enough, so the transactions can't be processed on the base layer because that's too slow. But with Kaspa, especially when we're going to 10 blocks per second, they can easily take all the transactions. On other stuff here, so it's Casplex and it's IGRA Labs are doing smart contracts. It looks like KII are doing their own ones as well. That's the Kaspa ecosystem. Sorry, Kaspa Industrial Initiative. You should give them a look as well. They're going to be doing a lot of stuff on top of Kaspa when smart contracts are out. We just finished the design and implementation of KII Kaspa EVM for our own testing and development on testnet 10. Let's have a wonderful weekend, everybody, at Kaspa Koi. I love you. You did great. We did great. Here she is here as well. I am Envy. After several sleepless nights with Kaspa KII team on EVM design, it's time to spread the wings, whether pushing Kaspa development to new heights or taking to the air for a well-deserved vacation. So I met this lady at the KII conference in Dublin. So yeah, it looks like KII are building smart contracts as well. So that's pretty cool. There was one called Cas EVM. They pulled out. They were looking for funding off Casplex and they misunderstood about how to get funding, but they're gone now. So it looks like there's three competitors, or not competitors, three people that are building on top of Kaspa for smart contracts. Other news here, Luke, the Australian ambassador, we had him on the show. The Litecoin network has processed a whopping 14 million transactions in 2025 in just 10 weeks. So what we see here is Kaspa did 15.7 million transactions in 24 hours in one day. So Litecoin was developed as a fork of Bitcoin just to fix the scalability of Bitcoin, but it never really took off. It's, I don't want to say failed network, but why do you need that when you have Kaspa as a proof of work and it's way more scalable than this? And it's got Nakamoto consensus, so it's security the same as Bitcoin. So you don't really need Litecoin, but fair play to them. But, Kaspa was able to do that much in a day. You can see here, Luke made this graph before when, I think this is when KDAO or the mint, the day of the KRC20 mint happened. All these transactions shot up like, that was that. And the last thing I want to show you, if you go to Cas.live, this is Kaspador's site, as far as I remember. Gives you a little idea of when Crescendo is going to happen. So the mainnet release is in 8 days. I think that's where they release the software out to all the nodes and the people who have public nodes, and they can upgrade their node software and have it ready. And then the hard fork is aiming, they're going to push that release and get everybody to activate it on the end of April, start of May is what I know. So this thing here is set for the end of April, but I heard them say end of April or start of May, the Crescendo is going to happen. So that's pretty exciting. That's all the news. That's everything I found in the last few days. I hope you found it helpful or enjoyable. If you did, please give me a like, give me a subscribe. It helps me with the channel and it gives me a little boost. But thanks for watching. Appreciate it. And I'll see you at the next one.